Welcome to the Talent to Learning Show podcast series, episode 83 with independent learning tech analyst John Lay. Today I interview Troy Tolle, Chief Technology Officer and co-founder of DigitalChalk, about the current state of the continuing education learning system market. You can find more of our fiercely independent content at talenttolearning.com. Well, welcome back, listeners, to the Talent to Learning Show podcast series. On this show, I am fortunate to interview the world's leading experts in learning solutions from both the vendor and the practitioner perspectives. Today's no different. From the vendor expert side of the fence, we have industry veteran Troy Tolle, who's been architecting and guiding the DigitalChalk LMS system for now 18 years. DigitalChalk, among other things, provides a unique learning system solution that excels in continuing and professional education. This is a tough segment of the market because it's so complex. To sell content as your primary business requires a solution that combines marketing, e-commerce, content and development, content management, user experience, credit management, reporting, all at the highest level. Additionally, the market is changing. There's new LMS solutions in the market. There is AI in the market changing how things are done. There is increased competition for buyers and for consumers of this content. And the expectations are sky high because it's 2024 and everybody uses online and mobile for everything. And so they expect their learning to be every bit as good as any other piece of the internet. And to make things the most challenging, is buyers have a lot of options. If you are a medical provider or a medical physician and you have to take your annual continuing medical education, you can certainly do that at the American Medical Association, but you can also do that at dozens of different for-profit organizations that provide continuing medical education content that you can use to satisfy those requirements. Because buyers have all these choices, the pressure is now on continuing education providers to up their game and to do it better than ever. And that's why we have Troy here today. Troy is an expert in continuing education, and he's going to catch us all up, bring us up to speed, and tell us what we need to know. Troy, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the Talented Learning Show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right. I've been waiting for this conversation because you're such an expert in this space and in this particular vertical. And we haven't had an update in far too long at Talented Learning on this vertical. And I know a ton's changed. And so we're really excited to hear and learn all about it. But before we get going in that, maybe a good place to start. Your name, DigitalChalk, has been around for, well, almost 2 decades, but it's very possible lots of listeners don't know who you are. So why don't we start there? Who's DigitalChalk and why did you found this company almost 2 decades ago?
Great. Sure. So DigitalChalk, we're a learning management system. We specialize in continuing education and as well as internal education. So corporations that want to do internal training. So the story behind why we started goes all the way back. I was a teacher at North Carolina State University. And so I love teaching. My family is built on teachers. My dad's a teacher. And then I started just building software. I used my computer science degree to build software. After that, one of the projects that I ran into was to build a learning management type platform before really there was one in the corporate space. And I really loved the project. It put together everything that I liked, multimedia and learning and education. So after that project, I just had the itch to go start something. And the people who actually funded that project kind of came back and asked me to write a business plan, and we launched DigitalChalk.
Wow. What's really curious is you're not the only one. I've ran into a series of entrepreneurs that actually built their first LMS because they couldn't find anything on the marketplace that would suit the needs. And so they ended up building it and then eventually founding a company. So it's such a cool story to get there. But maybe for listeners that aren't exactly sure, because there's a lot of synonyms, Troy, and you know it too, in this space, but maybe you can define what the continuing education or professional education market is. What's that mean in 2024?
Yeah, I mean, for 2024, it has changed, since we started, it's changed a lot, right? So a lot of people kind of go back to the CBT training but most continuing education was done in person and live way back. And so, but now more and more people are offering that online. So the continuing education space is really about jobs that require some sort of licensure, or they require some sort of certification, and on a continual basis. So you can think of industries like accounting and finance, insurance. Real estate's a really, really big one. You got to get certified every year, but it's these industries that you have to have the professional development along with it. And this also includes, companies that have extended enterprise reach. So people who are selling appliances that need them worked on by third parties, then need to train those third parties and make sure that they're certified to work on their equipment. So it's people who want to sell their training online, is who we serve, but they're able to credential those people through the state or some other professional body.
And they would include certainly the for-profit training companies that you've talked about, but then also pretty much any association, professional and trade association also.
Yes, absolutely. So, you think of your medical associations, your dental associations, all of those, they have certifying bodies within them. And so you have many associations that want to sign up for, being able to make money, selling those certifications as well.
hmm And so, what is the biggest challenges that these organizations face selling content? I mean, is the technology all figured out? Is it still difficult? Is everything been automated? What do these organizations struggle with?
It varies by the organization, right? The small ones struggle with different things than the larger ones, but I would say, meeting the regulatory requirements is a big one, right? So certain industries, you have to prove that a learner has been online for so many hours consuming the content that you're putting in front of them. They have to prove that they are the person that you're supposed to be certifying. Meeting the regulatory requirements of those different bodies, then understanding how to report back into those bodies. Um, Marketing and branding is a big one. They're excellent at delivering the content for the certification, but sometimes they don't know how to get the word out. They don't know how to make their stuff really look good. So they don't know how to put an email marketing platform within it and understand how to share that content out to the different people that they're trying to attract. So they're good at creating the content, but just not necessarily always good at getting the word out or making it look good or making it easy. Attracting that modern learner is another difficult thing, right? They're used to, stand up classroom type. Hey, they have to register for the conference, and they come in and they're sitting down. But this modern learner wants to learn on their phone. So how do you deliver that type of content quickly to that learner that's on the go, and you're really trying to get a quiz in front of them to make sure that you validate their learning? So all of those things. I'd say, another one is just the integrations, right? Every certifying body is different. They need different integrations that you need to send off messages to. They have different onboarding platforms tracking their learners, and so being able to, it's an overwhelming task for some to look at. Okay, got all these people. How do I track their training and understand that they're getting trained on time? All of that can be overwhelming.
Who are these regulatory bodies or certifying bodies? Like, where do they come from? Are they associated with the federal government? Are they global? Are they more local? Like, where does this come from?
They can be all over the place. Typically, we see at the state level.
Hmm.
Quite a few are at the state level, especially when you're talking about real estate licensure, some insurance. Um, So cosmetology is another big one. It differs by state, and the complications with that is every state is different in how they want that data. So how does somebody get registered as a certifying body? How do they prove that they're doing the right thing? So like real estate has a body called Arello that looks at all their content and makes sure that it follows a very specific standard. So, some of these governor bodies are at the federal level, but many of them are at the state level.
Wow. Wow. Cool. And so how does content change if it's, formally and still today in a lot of cases, you hold a big weekend show or a show through the week and you allow your attendees to sit through as many sessions as they can to get their credits. Now they're doing it online. What's
Mhm.
that online content look like? Is it PowerPoint? Is it page turners? Is it reading PDFs? Is it video? Is it all the above? Tell us what's cool.
I can tell you some of the typical things that people come with, especially when they're transitioning from the environment that you're talking about, kind of a sitting down environment where you're consuming the content. A good example is we had a real estate company in Massachusetts call us right when Massachusetts was given the capabilities for online real estate classes to be delivered and certified, right? So we've gone from this world of you have to sit down, you have to be in front of an instructor now to, oh, we're going to test this online. We're a little bit, and they wanted to be a front runner, but all they had was PowerPoint, right? So they had all their presentations that they were presenting, and so their first release with us was, hey, we said just upload your PowerPoint. We're going to convert it for you into online, consumable content. You don't have to worry about that. And so when they uploaded it to us, we converted it over to SCORM standard and was able to deliver that, right there for them. And then we help them transition into what you see today is, video synchronization with the PowerPoint, just video doing the teaching. There is some SCORM, like the learning package content. There is some out there in the continuing education space, SCORM, AICC, XAPI, all those acronyms that we have so much fun with in the learning space. But I would say the vast majority, lean on video heavily. They have their PowerPoints that they upload, and then they need to be able to build tests and surveys within the platform to test that learning, improve. And then you tack on certification. So the ability to deliver that certification right within the platform, whether that be through a certificate, through badging, or just through a simple report that's sent off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. You guys, in general, were ahead of the pack when it comes to video. So video now is ubiquitous. But when you started 20 years ago, that was really out there. One of the most progressive things. And so you've done a lot with video to make it not just video. Can you tell us, what you can do with video, what you got now, and what you're building,
Yeah,
just to catch everybody up?
so that was video is very interesting to me. So I told you my background, computer science. Video was really, really big, and back then 2006 even, YouTube had really just started, so people were kind of learning how to do video online. And so we wrote our own video streamers, our own video encoders. We wrote all that software back then, which is now kind of commonplace that you can buy these streamers and things like that. So it really has changed the landscape of learning. So what we can do today with video, we use video as an event source. So you upload your video, we're encoding that as many times as we can so that it's available on your mobile device, on your iPad, on your tablet, on your desktop, in a remote environment, in a high speed environment. So we're looking at how do we get the content, encoded for the right environment, but also we're able to break that video down to the timings. We create transcripts off that video, closed captioning. You can translate the closed captions. And then we use some technology that we've written to look at time codes within the video and to tell you, hey, your learners paused at this standpoint, they rewound, they fast forwarded, they sped up the video to 2 times. So you can get those analytics to understand, where your learners falling off, right? Is your content not as engaging as it might be? And then we drive synchronizations of slides and chapters. And really, we take an event-driven approach off of that video to enable all sorts of analytics within the platform.
Hmm. And then that's really cool. And in some of the industries, there's checks about making sure it's the right person, and so the video gets more, I don't know, interactive. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So when somebody's viewing the video, any instructor of ours can add what we call checkpoints to the video. And we have a simple interface where you can add a checkpoint. And the reason we did that, actually, it goes back to a long while ago. Texas was one of the first that required that someone was sitting in front, and you had to be able to prove that someone was sitting there for a specific amount of time and they didn't get up and walk away. So you can do that a couple ways, like proctoring is one, right? You have to sit in the room with somebody or have a video camera. But the other way was, we added checkpoints. And the way we do that is through an editor. You can ask questions. You can ask them about content within the video and verify that they got it correct. You can ask them for a password or some metadata about them that, the system knows. So you can validate that they are sitting there. And if they don't answer correctly, then you can actually back the video up to the point where that was addressed within the video and erase their progress. So you can ensure that they're actually maintaining the material. So that doesn't necessarily, it's not just for butts and seats, right? It's also to reinforce the learning right when you need it. Sometimes when we reinforce learning later through a test, you can kind of forget what you watch. You have to go rewatch the whole thing. So the advantage of that is being able to back up to that point within the video. But also you can guarantee that, hey, if somebody gets up and walks away and leaves it running, it'll time out and we can actually erase all their progress and make them start all over. So there can be consequences built in to the consumption of the content.
Is any of that driven by these regulatory bodies? Or do they
Yes.
make you do it in? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there's different ways to solve it, right? So you can add proctoring, which if you wanted to add proctoring, you can do that with DigitalChalk. So we have AI proctoring where, make sure that somebody's there. But, the way we solved it in the beginning was, hey, just make sure that they're there. Ask them questions that only they should know. Maybe their password or, some other information or information about the content. Make sure that they're actually getting the use out of the learning that you want them to, not just passing, right? Not just, hey, I just sat here, but hey, do I really understand what I'm learning?
Cool. Cool. You mentioned at the beginning that one of the challenges was marketing and selling your content, those pieces that are, I don't know, the non-learning pieces
Mhm.
of the equation. How would you approach it? Now, here's a better way. What's the modern standard of e-commerce for a continuing education system? What do you have to have to be able to have a business like this?
Right. Obviously, if you're talking e-commerce, you got to have the ability to sell that content, right? So you got to have a catalog that people can view. You got to be able to sell that content and not just put a price on it. So that's kind of the minimum, putting a price on it and collecting. But being able to discount that price based upon past usage. Maybe you have a customer that's a returning customer. You want to be able to detect that and then discount the course based upon some sort of attribute about that customer. Look at all the courses they've taken in the past and remind them to come purchase. So you need some upsell and cross-sell capabilities within the platform. You need to be able to sell in multi-currencies. So we have, some people who are able to certify both in Canada and the US. And so you need to be able to sell the same content in Canadian dollars and US dollars or in the pound, right? So if you're talking about going over to Europe, you need to be able to sell that content in multiple different currencies. So e-commerce capabilities for selling, building custom catalogs. So it can't be, with corporate learning, you have standard learning that everybody has to take. But in the e-commerce environment, you're actually trying to market and sell. So you got to have this marketing landing page, and you got to be able to deliver the right type of content for the right person. So you got to be intelligent about who is actually coming to your site, and then make those fine-grained decisions about what content do they need at this time. So kind of just-in-time content delivery, and pushing the right marketing message right in front of their face.
And what about buying in bulk? Is that a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So you need to be able to create coupon codes that allow multi-seat purchases, but also if a company wants to come in and buy 500 seats of your course because they want to distribute it to an entire division, they should be able to do that. Come to your site, put in 500, do a checkout, and then have the codes emailed to them so they can send it to their employees and log in with that code for free. We
What
also
about the
have
market?
gifting capabilities as well. So if you just want to gift somebody, hey, I know you're a real estate agent and you're in North Carolina. I went out here to this real estate company and bought a gift card for you so that you can go take courses on their site.
Cool. Cool. That's neat. So what about the marketing pieces? Is that Here's the question: are the marketing pieces outside of a learning system? Like, do you hook into an email sender or a CRM, or is that kind of stuff being driven from within a learning system, or both?
Yeah. So DigitalChalk would do both. So what we have done is we try to provide you all the tools within the toolkit to make the objective, right? Market your course with a landing page that is able to be shared on Twitter and Facebook, LinkedIn. So make sure that it looks good on all those platforms, is optimized for search. All of those capabilities are built in, as well as, email reminders and things like that. But it's also very important for integrations, right? Everybody has their favorite tools. And so if you have a favorite email marketing tool that you want to run drip campaigns through, you have to have the ability to integrate there. You have to be able to push events based upon user creations over to those platforms so that you can start a drip campaign that advertises the products back within the learning management system. So you're exactly right. Email is a big one. So is sign-on, especially for associations. John, you got associations that have hundreds of thousands of members, and they have a sign-on mechanism already in place. They don't want to have all their members, log into different platforms to do different types of learning. So
Mhm.
the ability to delegate the sign-on to just a subset of the association, let them log in, authenticate without a friction. So you want a frictionless process. Let them log in, let them see the courses that are relevant to them, register, and then be on their way.
Mhm. Great, great. And so, what about from a AI standpoint? I can't believe we've waited this long into the conversation, but I'm sure AI is impacting your solution in different places. Tell us about that and how that's helping with the whole continuing education mission.
AI? I don't know.
You
AI is
ever hear
changing
that?
everything. AI has changed. AI has completely changed the game, right? Um, so AI can be used for content creation. So especially think about an industry as regulated as real estate. So I keep going back to that, but there's entire policies and documents that you know the vision is to be able to upload those, parse those using AI toolkit, pull out the relevant topics, create scripts right within the learning management system that can be read back and taught to the learner in a very specific way. So imagine putting the policy in, you're extracting this segment for the policy. So real estate of townhomes in Western North Carolina, what are the requirements? And build a course based upon that. We call that the course factory. Uploading the content like your video, your documents, you push it all into the LMS. And then we interrogate those things. So we're indexing those, looking at the video, interrogating it all, and then helping you build that course based upon the content that you've fed it in. So AI is changing the game completely. And we take that content, and then to help validate that your user understands it, we get you started with test questions. So you can come in, say, hey, I want to test based upon these topics that I've got within the course, and then have it generate 5 multiple choice, 6 fill in the blank, an essay question, and one more. And then it'll spit that out for you, and then you can go in and change it. So AI has taken building a course from, it can be weeks long activity to put everything together into, minutes, if not, hours, if not minutes. Like just building the course, if you have the content and you're the subject matter expert, you got to be able to kind of shape that content and deliver it. So AI is completely changing the game.
Wow. And wow. And you can just imagine that organizations, if they're your direct competitors and somebody's taking advantage of that and somebody isn't, how the competitive gap has just got to exponentially grow right now, just for your
Right.
ability to expand your library, update the level of your courses all in a fraction of time, really changes really the biggest component of growth restriction, in these
Yes,
companies.
staying on top of it. So staying on top of the regulations is huge. So I've got last year's regulations for policies. I got this year's. What changed? If I can
Hmm.
tell you what changed, now I know exactly what to train you on for this next year, something that's new or something that's changed. I can create a course just on that, and I can make money just by telling you, hey, these are the items that change that you need to know about.
Wow, neat. Where's it going to be in 2 years? What are you building next? Where are you taking everything? Where's it taking you?
So we're going to continue on this course factory model, right? So understanding these policies that are being written, helping people really define what they want to teach from that level, making it very, very easy for them to create their content very quickly. We're going to continue to build our integrations. We got thousands of integrations. Continue to build those out to the most relevant platforms that are coming through. Introducing AI into our chalkboard, which is the video technology that I was talking about. More business intelligence tools. So being able to expose all the data that we're collecting to the right people in the right way. So understanding who that customer is and how they want to visualize that data so that they can dissect it to grow their market, that's going to be kind of what's coming up.
Wow, sounds fun. Sounds fun. You're just getting going after almost 20 years. But we're out of time already. These interviews go so quick.
That did go
Um,
fast.
all right, so here's the final question. So say you're a CE organization and you're limping by on some LMS that was meant for employee learning only, and you think you need an upgrade. What's the best advice for organizations to start this process? I think that upgrade, the switching out seems scary. How do you know that it's time to rip off the Band-Aid and do it? What's your best advice to get people moving in the right direction if they're on substandard technology?
Well, first of all, if they're on that technology, the kind of the number one question that you should always ask is kind of the NPS question, right? Would you recommend this platform, the platform that you're on today, to somebody else? Um, if you can't recommend it, then why are you using it? So, you go ahead, get off that, and look at a different LMS. So I focus a lot on, we're going to make it easy. It has to be easy for the admin, and it has to be easy for the learner. You're trying to convert somebody who's coming in that might not be used to an online experience before. You need to make that super easy. You need to have a partner that's going to work with all the integrations that you want to have in place, but a partner that's going to support you. So we take very seriously every person that comes onto our platform. And one of the things that we focus on really, really intently is support. So we want to support you as the admin, creating your content, delivering that content, making you very successful, but also support your users. So as they come in, you might not know the answer. We're going to answer those calls for you. We're going to help your learner progress through the content, or buy that content from you so that you can kind of ease your mind. You're not the technical support agent anymore. We'll take care of that for you.
Wow. Sage advice. Troy Tolle, Chief Technology Officer at DigitalChalk, co-founder. That was a great conversation. Learned a lot about all the different working pieces here. I asked the advice. This is the 83rd episode of this podcast, and I asked a similar advice question every single time as the last question, and you succinctly, I think, came up with the best answer in 83 episodes. If you're not recommending it, it's time to look for something else, and that just gets down to the bottom base of it. So great conversation, great technology, great solution. It's really interesting to hear what you're doing, how AI is changing everything, and really how the market's just sophisticating, getting more sophisticated rather every single day, and making it challenging and an opportunity for all continuing education providers, for profit or non for profit. Doesn't matter. They all have the same challenges. And if you're solving this in a manual way or not solving it at all right now, guess what? You're falling behind. And if you are, you should swing by digitalchalk.com, and take a look at some modern stuff. I'm sure they'll happy to talk to you about your business. Troy, thanks very much for showing up. It was great to have you here today.
Thank you, John.
Listeners, thanks for tuning back in. We hope you found value, and you can find more of our fiercely independent content at talentedlearning.com. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next.